name is Andy Sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am going to give you my April wrap-up. April was an interesting month. I read a lot in April, like a lot in April. Not as much as I did in March, but still quite a bit. Actually, I would be interested to see, yeah, it's up there. My lowest month was February, and so April comes up next. So we'll see what May has for us, because I felt like I read a lot. I don't know. Knocked out some things, finished some series, etc. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the stats. Let's talk about the stats. Oh, no, caveat, fair warning. I have like a million best books to talk about this month and not a lot of books I didn't like this month. Normally I'm pretty neutral about my books I liked, but not this month. Not this month. So let's go ahead and talk about the stats. I read a total of 23 books in April. For the books that had pages that I read with my eyes, I read 3,239 pages. For audiobooks, I listened to 158 hours and 51 minutes, which is 6 days, 14 hours and 51 minutes. My average pages per day was 184.6, and my average hours listened per day was 5 hours, 27 minutes, and 19 seconds. My average rating was a 4.0 because I had more 5-star reads this month than I've had all year. It was a wild time. I purchased a total of 0 books. No books were bought this month. Hooray, we love that. I borrowed a total of 17 books from the library, which saved me $293.28. So really, it's more like I made money because I didn't buy books and I saved money, and girl math says that I made money. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Of the 23 books that I read, 5 of them were rereads, because I do series, but then I also like reread a couple of things just for the fun of it. I read 11 audiobooks and 12 ebooks. Yes, that's correct. I read more books with my eyes than with my ears this month. Sorry, it's crazy, I know. The intended audiences for those books were 11 adult books, 8 young adult books, and 4 middle grade / children's books. Those middle grade / children's books are going to be the Witch Chronicles. I know what they are. The Witch graphic novels that I will one day finish. So close. I'm so close to being done. For the genres, which are part of the book blanket, which I will be doing a 6-month book blanket update when it is 6 months in. So that'll come out probably in like July or something. I read 2 sci-fi, 10 fantasy, 1 romance, 1 historical, 1 thriller, 6 horror, 1 nonfiction, 1 contemporary, and one of those sci-fi books could have also been classified as a classic, which makes me, having read more than 1 classic every other month, but having read classics multiple months in a row, what do I win? Nothing. It's an arbitrary goal that I set for myself. Anyway, let me talk about the worst book that I read this month, because it is 2 books, but they are a part of a series, and I just want to knock those out real quick before we talk about books that I really, really enjoyed. So that's going to be A Curse of Ash and Embers and its sequel, A Daughter of Lies and Ruin by Jo Spurrier. So Past Me gave this 3 stars. And what you may not know about Past Me was that she was gentle and kind. She did not review things accurately or well. Or honestly. So I was nervous going into this. I did end up giving it 3 stars again, the first book. And everything I said about it the first time I read it holds true. I almost DNF'd it. I was fucking bored the whole time. The last 25% of the book was the only interesting thing, and then the book ends on a cliffhanger, and I find that very annoying. For why? We don't need it. I hate it. Did not have fun. Don't enjoy that. It's a pet peeve of mine. The sequel was worse somehow. The sequel was worse. So first off, some things that are nitpicky that I didn't like. There was language that didn't make sense given the era that the book felt like it was written in. This book feels like it's written in non-modern times. I wouldn't say Renaissance era, like Ren Fair, you know, that era. But like, there's peasants and villages and marrying off of the daughters and that kind of shit. And to me that would imply that we are currently not in modern times. Using phrases like screw you, fuck off, that kind of thing felt strange. It felt out of place. It felt bizarre. And then there was just a lot of stuff that I just could not force myself to give a fuck about. I didn't care about our main character learning to be a witch. I felt like she started off this like very strong and stubborn character in our first book, and she does lose almost all of that personality in the first book, and that just continues in the second book. She is docile and scared of everything, and it's fucking frustrating. I find her insufferable. The interesting characters lose any lose any luster that they had in the second book, and it was terrible. It was a very bad book. I did not enjoy it. 2-star read, which is saying something, and I wish I had not decided to try and finish that series. I wish I had just cut my losses and said, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to read it, because it was a waste of my time. So here we are with that. I don't know what it is about sequels, because this is now 2 months in a row that a sequel has pissed me off. Although with this one, the first book wasn't good either, so. For my top books, oh my gosh, y'all, I read so many good books this month. There are some that I don't even have listed here because it was like a reread. The first one is going to be Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. This is a like cozy sci-fi, but I was halfway through this book and I was texting Ozzy and I was like, either this book is going to fucking emotionally devastate me or be one of the cutest, coziest books I've ever read in my life. And those are literally the only two options. One of our main characters is trans and navigating being trans, and then the other one is trying to steal her soul. Things could have gone really badly here. And there's some other stuff happening, because it's sci-fi. So like there's other stuff happening. It could have gone badly so easily that I was stressed. But every chapter was lovely. Every single chapter was lovely. Every single chapter was like, oh wow. Wow, that was lovely. That was really nice. Okay, sure. Every chapter. I don't know how this author did it, but they did an incredible job. I really, really enjoyed this book. Then we have What the Woods Took by Courtney Gold. I love Courtney Gold's horror. I just do. I just love Courtney Gold's horror. And I also really enjoy a story about troubled teen industry, because I like that we're talking about it now. Like, there were books about it in the past, but I like that we're talking about it now. And talking about how it's bad, and that kind of thing. Just all really good. The horror in it was great, and the story was interesting, the characters were interesting. What the fuck was in the woods? What were those things? What were they doing? Why are they also running kind of a troubled teen industry thing? That's crazy. I'm trying not to spoil anything. That's the struggle here. Our main character is queer. She's a foster kid. She's there because she keeps getting into fights because she's got anger issues. Girl, don't we all? And then there's some other kids that are like there for varying different reasons, and they're bonding, but they're mostly bonding because they're going through something absolutely ridiculously traumatizing, and I do not actually even mean the troubled teen camp. That's actually not even specifically the traumatizing part. So, yeah. Next up, we have We Bloom at Night by Trang Tan Van. Hold on. I need to clarify because I actually didn't write it down. Because the one I have written down is actually the third book in a trilogy, and I don't feel like that's fair. So give me 2 seconds so that I make sure. Yes. Trang Tan Tran. They Bloom at Night. This was such a fantastic conversation about gender and monstrosity and trauma, and how the people who care for us can love us to the end of the day, into the world, but they struggle to understand us, which therefore makes it feel like their love hurts us. How it can feel like you're turning into something completely outside of your control after something traumatizing happens to you. and that everybody is seeing it happen and is just dismissing it as normal when it doesn't feel normal to you, because also you've never felt normal in your body to begin with, so you're kind of dismissing those changes too. That conversation, on top of horrifying fucking body horror and water, scary water monsters, and body horror, and what's happening to these people. It was really good. I loved the way that we balanced those two conversations. I felt like it was done really well. I think that gender identity and trauma being tied into this conversation about monstrosity is fantastic, because those kinds of things are not always cutesy, beautiful, whatever. They're rarely cutesy, beautiful, and whatever. There are no perfect victims, etc. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. So much more than I expected to, honestly. And there's one more book I want to talk about, and it is not, I will not personally call it the top book of the month. And I only rated it 4 stars. But it is a book that I am still thinking about, have thought about, can't stop thinking about since I finished it a couple of days ago. Because I used the words, it was gently devastating, and I don't think I've ever described anything that way. And that's I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. It is a depressing story. There is no reprieve from it being depressing. I usually cannot stand those books. I usually struggle with those. I did not in this instance, because the story was so interesting to me that I wanted to know what was going to happen next, and so I could get through the devastating parts of it because I was so invested. Did we have a happy ending? Absolutely not, depending on the framing that you have for happy endings. Would this person who's writing this story consider it a happy ending? Maybe. There are things that she learned and discovered about her life and herself that she would not have otherwise understood, while there are still lots of questions. I left with lots of questions, so I give that caveat. You won't have the answers. So the book is a neoclassic that is about these 40 women who have been placed in a bunker, and one of them is a child who should not have ever been placed in the bunker. And that child has never really known men other than the guards that surround this bunker. Eventually they are let out. That's not a spoiler, they talk about it. Eventually they are let out. And you don't get answers as to why they were there. You don't get answers as to what happened to put them there, who put them there. None of that is answered. So if that is important to you, do not read that book. But there was wording and language, and the story was so compelling and heavy that I haven't stopped thinking about it. And again, no, I wouldn't consider it the best book that I've read this month, but I would consider it the most impactful book I've read this month. So there you go. That is it. That is the wrap up. April has been a time. It has been a month. Next month, and then by the time this comes out this month, I think, is my birthday month. Usually my reading is either obscenely high, like I read a ton, or I read nothing because it is my birthday month. So we will see what ends up happening. I'm excited to find out what I do. So stay tuned on that. Clear Your Shit is coming up also in about a month. It will happen in June, so I hope you guys are participating. If so, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you've read any of these books or wanted to read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to talk about it with you. But that's it. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first full week of the month, because day game brace is important. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you enjoyed this video. And also, don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.